enough for one box of bees. And you know, it's a commercial product. It just came on the market. You can get them at Belleville Honey, but you have to buy a whole bucket for $155. Or you can, not today, but you can buy them from me, because I was really curious. I've been reading about these for a long time. I wanted to know how they work, so I bought a whole bucket. And of course, with 3 hives in the backyard, I can't even begin to use them. So you can buy these from me at cost some other time at an MBBA meeting or at the end of the session. These seem to have proven to be very effective. You don't have to have a lot of equipment. You don't have to have a bunch of little gewgaws. All you do is open up the thing, slap them on, take them out. I think it's 14 days later, and you've treated your bees.
And you do that once a year?
You can do this several times a year, up to 3 times a year. And one of the...
But not during...
not when you have honey supers on. And also, one of the advantages of these quick strips is that they work over a wider temperature range, whereas bulk formic acid, however you're doing it, you have to have temperatures at least above 60, 65 degrees, and not more than 85 degrees. So it's a pretty narrow temperature range that you may or may not be able to use in this area. And this you can use between 50 and 95 degrees. So
what was the not more than on the other?
Not more than 85, and not less than 60, I think it's about 65. Okay, so that's formic acid. In my book, and in my humble opinion, and in the humble opinions of many other beekeepers around, formic acid is the mildest, most effective miticide you can use. So seriously consider some form of formic acid in your beehives. You can read about it online. You can look up Mite Away quick strips. They have a great video on how to use them. But I encourage you to think about doing that. There are many other ways to deal with mites, and here's one of the other ways. This is a product called HopGuard. It's not formic acid. It's an extract of hops. And at the same time as they're making liquid hop extract for making beer, they're making this stuff. And it's really nasty looking, gooey stuff. It's in cardboard strips that fold. They're split and they fold over the frames. You use 2 in each box. It's supposedly food grade hop extract, and also in testing trials has been very effective. And you can use, according to the manufacturer, you can use this stuff when you have honey supers on your hives. So HopGuard, same thing. I got a bunch of these because I wanted to see what it worked like. And there's a couple of people here. Jim has already used them. Jody has used them. They haven't used them long enough to see what the total effect is. But it's much easier to use than formic acid. And it's made locally. It comes from Yakima, actually. So HopGuard. And all these things, remember, you can Google. And all these manufacturers have videos and how to do it and instructions and everything. And whenever you're doing any kind of mite treatment, be sure you research the instructions and the safety precautions thoroughly before you even think about getting close to your beehives. So, HopGuard. And the very last thing, I know I'm over time here, but the very last thing is a treatment with oxalic acid. And this is a treatment that you do when the hive is brood free, which is generally in the middle of the winter. The bees aren't making winter bees anymore, which they do during the fall. And winter bees are physiologically different. They have more fat bodies. So they can survive for a long time. They can survive for, all the way through our long cold winter, 7 or 8 months. Whereas normal bees live 3 to 6 weeks, if you're lucky. So you pick a time of the year, and we kind of generically pick the winter solstice here, which is December 21st, and as a generally brood-free time, because oxalic acid will harm open brood. Not completely, but it will do enough damage during a time of the year when you don't want any damage in the hive, because it's a sensitive time for bees in the middle of the winter. So oxalic acid this is a kit that Jody and I made up for treating, and we all did, a number of us did this. Jim did it, I did it, Jody did it, some other people did it. You get it at hardware sales. It's not an official bee product. It's used for bleaching wood, so some of you woodworkers might know about this stuff. It's like dirt cheap. I think this was $4 or $5, and it's enough to last me 10 lifetimes. So you get this, you mix it up with water. There are we published instructions in Bee Bits one time, but you can go online and get them, or you can email me and I can show you instructions. This is just you mix it up thoroughly. It's got to be completely dissolved in water, a certain amount, and you put it in a syringe, like a veterinary syringe, or this is a lavage syringe from a hospital, and you dribble it over. You look in the hive quickly because it's the middle of December and you don't want to chill the hive. But you look in the hive, you find out roughly where the brood cluster is, and then you dribble this in between the frames, right over where the brood cluster is. And there are some precautions you have to take with this too, because it's volatile and you can burn your hands or your skin and burn your lungs if you smell it. So whenever you're using an acid like formic or oxalic, be sure the wind is at your back. Be sure you have some kind of an organic acid respirator on, rubber gloves, and I use a rubber lab apron too, which I think I got at Cash and Carry, but it's acid resistant. So you got to be careful about precautions. So this is the last thing I do, or the first thing I do, in the bee season, and it seems to be very, very effective. It's widely used in commercial beekeeping and other places in Europe and around the world. We haven't used it very much here yet, and largely that's because we don't have a very good education system. We don't have any state beekeeper inspector coming to our hives, looking into them and counseling us and patting us on the back and telling us about this stuff. So we just haven't got the word around that these things are here, because they've been used for a long time.
It's not approved either.
Sorry to interrupt. We need to switch.
Okay, I'm done. That was it.
I would